Welcome to everyone who is here already. If you like music with your yin or any type of yoga, I have a few Spotify playlists already uploaded on my Spotify account. I'm not going to play music for quality of audio for you and your listening to the class and the asanas. So if you would like music, I have added a link to a playlist that I would have chosen for this class, and it's in the chat thread of the group. So if you would like that, you can click on that link now. I'll just post it a second time in case somebody joined after I posted it. And you can click on that and follow it. That said, yin yoga is often done with only very soft kind of atmospheric sounds or in silence. So if you're lucky enough to have a home space that's beautifully serene and quiet, then perhaps you just want to embrace that this evening. Right, so we've got a yin and meditation class. Just very briefly, anybody who hasn't done yin before, the sort of intention of the practice is to find a sense of ease and comfort in each posture. We move really slowly. Each posture is held for a minute to 5, depending on the type of pose. And the sort of intention is to be able to let the body move and breathe and fall into a pose in a natural way. So there's no need to try and sort of flex and stretch and have a perfect poise or alignment in your spine. Yin is about embracing the natural curves and alignment of your body and working with that. So that said, it's really lovely in a yin practice to have some soft supportive props with you. So today I've got 2 cushions like this with me, and they will come in use. And you might want to also grab a blanket quickly, or a warm slop shirt or something, because the body temperature can get quite low over the practice, and you don't want to sort of feel cold. So if you just grab those soft cushions, blankets, pair of socks, something like that. If you know that you're quite stiff, particularly around the hips, you want to make sure that you have, say, 2 or 3 cushions. You know, the more the better, kind of thing, because the props will fill in the gaps that you might feel in your flexibility, and they'll make the poses feel more comfortable. And right, so we'll begin our practice with a yin sequence, and I'll kind of speak to the postures and speak to some philosophy, Chinese philosophy, Chinese herbal medicine philosophy, and the approach that is taken in Chinese herbal medicine to anxiety. The reason why connection with Chinese with yin, if you're not familiar, is because yin yoga comes from a lineage of yoga development that was influenced by Taoism. So we work with the map of Chinese herbal medicine, the map of energy meridians in the body. So it will complement quite nicely. And then towards the end of the practice, I'll lead you in a guided meditation for anxiety. And this is a very simple meditation that I've been doing for many, many, many years. If you practiced it with me many years ago, or for some years, you might actually recognize some of this, because I found it to be the most effective. It's simple, but the most effective meditation for alleviating feelings of anxiety. So let's begin. Make yourself feel comfortable seated on your mat in a Sukhasana seat, or just cross-legged. Make sure that you have something underneath your bum to support you, to make the seat feel more comfortable, to make yourself feel at ease. The more stiff your hips are, the more height you want to create behind your bum. And you might also want to place something underneath your knees if your groins are really tight. So once you've found the arrangement of cushions underneath you, I invite you to lightly place your hands on your knees, palms facing downwards, and just tilt the pelvic floor ever so slightly forwards, so you come to sit just on the front part of your sitting bones, of your pelvic floor. And then we'll just take a moment to take a deep breath in, and with that, to lift the shoulders up and exhale and let them roll back and down. And let's do that a second time. Inhale to lift and draw the shoulders up to the ears, and then exhale and roll them back and down. And then as you do that, I invite you to start to lead your posture through the solar plexus. So at the base of the ribs, center part of the torso, and imagine as though that leads your posture. So that allows you to now relax your shoulders, and to as you let them roll back and down, to feel a sense of softness and expansion over your shoulders, perhaps a lengthening over the back of the neck, and allow your chin to tuck in ever so slightly. And I invite you now to soften your belly. In Yin, we focus on softening into the organs. And now I invite you to close your eyes. And first, let's just feel that sense of contact between your eyelids and eyeballs. And as you close off your faculty of sight, begin to turn the gaze inwards. Just acknowledge and observe the sensation of eyelids on eyeballs as you do this. And as you feel what it feels like to have eyelids on eyeballs and hone into this sensation, let it be an invitation to relax the rest of your face. Let the skin over your cheeks, over your forehead, over the jaw, into the teeth, the tongue, the lips, perhaps over the ears, over the scalp, and even into the brain. This be an invitation to relax, to let any tension drain from the face. And then start to move the attention from the eyes down over the bridge of the nose to the nostrils. And let the attention settle here, observing each inhalation and exhalation fall naturally. Don't try and force the breath. Don't try and arrest the breath. Just observe. So in our normal flow of hatha or vinyasa, we might be taking deep, full yogic breathing. In our yin practice, we're going to focus on that soft, automated, essential rhythm, the flow of inhalation and exhalation as it falls naturally. And you want to invite the breath to be as soft and as subtle as feels right and normal. And this is part of the process of calming the nervous system, sending signals to your body to relax and to bring healing and restoration. So let the breath be soft and subtle. And as you turn your mind to your breath, let all the thoughts and worries and ideas and concerns of the day start to become a little less important. So as you focus on your breath, let those things and ideas and thoughts flying around, let them fade a little bit into the background. And throughout our session today, should your thought patterns start to arise and scream and run away from you and with you, when you catch yourself following that train of thought, I invite you to smilingly bring your mind back to your breath. And this is the key of any meditative practice, whether still meditation or movement meditation. Not to have perfect concentration or poise, but to, without getting angry and with steadfastness and consistency, turn your mind back to your breath. And so let the breath be subtle and monotonous. And let the mind be still, the mind be calm. This is a time that you have given yourself now to focus on your mat, to focus on your well-being, to give rest to the mind and body. And you have given yourself this time. And so let us embrace it with fullness. Let us be here mentally present as we are physically. And if you feel yourself starting to stoop forwards or get fidgety or uncomfortable, I invite you to just observe that and not to run away with it, not let it overcome you, and turn back to the task of being present, of observing body and breath and mind. In this session we share together this evening or this morning, depending on where you are. And keeping the mind focused on the nostrils and on the breath, I invite you to gently flutter your eyes open, looking forwards towards me, and I'll demonstrate. We're going to do a few bits of alternate nostril breathing. So in Chinese philosophy, your lungs are very important in association with both grief and anxiety. So the expansion of your lungs is a very important part of our yin practice for anxiety. So you're going to lift up your right hand, and alternate nostril breathing is to bring your finger and your forefinger and your middle finger on your third eye, or the area between your brows, and your right thumb touches, opens and closes your right nostril, and your right ring finger opens and closes your left nostril. And so keeping both nostrils open to begin with, let's take a breath in and let's take a breath out. At the bottom of that exhalation, close your left nostril with your ring finger, and now inhale only through the right nostril. And now close both nostrils. Try, if you can, to close your eyes, soften over the shoulders. And with the exhalation, lift your ring finger and exhale through that left nostril. Let's inhale through the left nostril. Close in on both nostrils. Try not to fight the breath. Just relax the body, relax over the shoulders. Lifting the thumb, exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Close both nostrils, relax, clear the mind, maybe focus on your fingers on the third eye, and then lifting the ring finger, exhale. Inhale through the left. Close both nostrils, soften the shoulders, soften the body. Sit up straight if you're starting to slouch. And then lifting the thumb, exhale through the right. Let's inhale through the right. Close in on both nostrils. Focus on the third eye. And then lifting ring finger, exhale. Inhale through the left. Close both nostrils, soften the body, soften the mind. Lifting the thumb, exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Close both nostrils, relax mind, focus on the third eye. And exhale, lifting the ring finger. Let's inhale through the left side. Close both nostrils and relax, soften, don't fight. Lifting the thumb, exhale. Inhale through the right side. Closing both nostrils. Exhale, lifting the ring finger. Let's inhale through the left. Close both nostrils and soften the body. And then lift your thumb, exhale. Last round. Inhale through the right. Close both nostrils. Lifting the ring finger, exhale through the left. Inhale through the left. Close both nostrils. And focus on your third eye. Relax over the shoulders. Turn the gaze inwards and hold the breath for as long as is comfortable for you. Try not to feel that you're fighting or forcing the breath. The moment that you feel like you need to release it, just breathe out on the right side, on the right nostril, and then release your hand. Bringing it back to your knee on the right side when you're ready. And take a moment just to adjust and feel and tune into the body here and the changing sensations after the alternate nostril breathing. Perhaps you're a little bit lightheaded. Perhaps you feel more calm. And just observe what arises as it is. And then gently opening your eyes and picking up at least one cushion and bringing it to the right side of your legs, and just taking a moment to lift the legs up, stretch them out, straighten them out, and then inhale, recross them, but the other way. So you would have probably crossed them in the more comfortable way. We all have a favored way, and so recross them with the other leg on the inside. And then look towards your cushion on the right. Take a deep breath in and lengthen the spine, maybe pulling slightly on your right shin. And then exhale and fold over onto that cushion. Place your elbows if you can. If your elbows don't get to the cushion and you just have your hands there, that's also fine. But try to get as close down onto the cushion as you can. And then soften your head and look down and inwards towards the cushion. And as you do that, you just want to counter resist your left hip in the opposite direction. So it doesn't have to be a very tense or forced counter resistance, but just a reminder to the body that you don't completely fall over to the right side. So you just want to tweak that left hip back down towards the floor. And that is an invitation to stretch more deeply into the left side body. Your eyes can be closed here as you focus on your breath and let the work of the chi or pranic energy, life force that is flowing through your body right now. And we are enhancing the flow of energy on the left side, over the left side body and the outer part of the left hip. And this is the region where you have your energy meridians for the liver, the spleen, and the kidneys. And these energy meridians also channel down the front and the outer side of your leg and down on the in and outer side of your ankles. And they draw all the way up into the front of the chest. And so through stretching in the side body and over the hip here, we are enhancing the flow of chi through those meridians. On your next inhalation, lift your chest up, and we'll swap over to the other side, bringing your cushion over on the left side. Same process, so you can just kind of lengthen through the body, hold on to a knee if you need to lift and lengthen through the spine. And then exhale to fold over, elbows on the cushion, now on the left side. Soften your neck to look down towards that cushion. So don't strain to look outwards or towards the front. And gently coax now the right hip back onto the floor, the opposing hip, so you don't collapse to the left side. And the reason why we're going to be focusing on the liver, kidney, and spleen meridians is because in Chinese herbal medicine and Taoist philosophy, these are part of what are known as the Zhang organs. And our Zhang organs directly relate to emotions. And so the liver is the flow of energy in the body, but also anger. The kidneys are fear. And the spleen is the seat of worry. Last few moments here, stretching to the side. And then inhale and lift the chest up, back towards the center. And from here, you want to move your cushion out the way, and also the cushion that you're sitting on out the way. And you want to bring your legs up, knees up, and roll back onto your mat, slowly, vertebra by vertebra. Once you have the whole of the spine flat on the mat, inhale to lift your legs up, knees nicely bent. And then take your right leg over the left as though you were sitting cross-legged on a chair. And then start to draw both knees with the back of the right knee kissing the front of the left knee in towards your body. And then you want to hold onto your feet. So my left hand is going to hold onto my right foot, the outer part of my right foot. And my right hand is holding onto the outer part of my left foot. So now if you inhale and lift both feet up, engaging into the feet, it's like you're holding handlebars of, say, a motorcycle. And so I want you to do that. It kind of works the left and right side of the brain to get it quite right. As you engage into your toes and to the balls of the feet and the heels, I want you to soften into your shoulders, soften into the face, and press your knees and your thighs together and then away from you. And press your coccyx, the base of the spine, into the floor. So you should feel a few things going on here. The one is a stretch over the outer part of your right hip, over the gluteus median, the muscle that straps over the outer part of your hip joint. And then you should also be feeling a nice gentle release and stretch over your upper shoulders. Perhaps even tingling of tendons along the arms. Last breath here. And then exhale to bring your heels close in towards your bum. And then hug your knees in towards your heart as you bring your heels as close as you can towards the bum. Place your elbows close towards the floor. More intense stretching on the outer part of the hip. And then exhale and release your feet to the floor. So bringing the outer part of both of your feet onto the floor. You can press your fingers now into where part of your energy meridians that we're working with, where they end on the foot. So in the groove, just below the ankle joint, you can kind of press your fingers in around there. It might feel quite nice on the outer part of that back part of the foot. And then exhale to release your knees towards the floor. Now, some of you will have your knees quite high up towards the ceiling, some flat on the floor. It doesn't matter where you end. If you feel like it's a strain to hold your legs, then you might want to release your hands and just place a cushion behind your knees so you have some support. So if it's an effort to hold your knees upwards, place a cushion behind them so you can place them on something soft and bridge that gap between knees and floor. Keep holding on to the outer part of your feet and gently pressing without with too much harshness, just gently pressing into the outer part of the feet. And then you can lift your chest up towards the ceiling, roll the shoulders back and press the outer part of the bicep and the deltoid, the wrapping around the top of your shoulders, into the floor. And you can close your eyes here. We freed the lungs in this posture. Any reclining pose like this allows for deeper gulps of air, of oxygen. And so just observe that rise and fall of your chest, and perhaps the rise and fall of your belly as well. And so in Chinese herbal medicine, when we have an issue or an ailment or an illness, the first thing that we look at is, of course, the physical aspect and the symptoms. So in terms of anxiety, we'd treat and try to enhance the flow of qi or pranic energy through the liver, spleen, and kidney meridians in the body. We would also work with opening the lungs and lung capacity. And there's quite an interesting confluence here between Ayurveda and Indian herbal medicine and Chinese, in that focus on breath as being a central point in managing emotion and a sign or a yardstick for changing emotions. The fluttering breath, there's no change in emotion or mind state without an associated change in breath and the work of the lungs. And exhale, release the legs, but keep your hands on the feet. And now what we'll do is just lower the left leg to the floor. This is called the cat's noose. And then shift over onto the left side of your hip, and then bring your right leg over top of the body. Now, some of us will be straightening the right leg out. I'm a bit constricted by the door there. Some of us will be with your hand on the outside of your right foot, be straightening your leg out. Some of us will just have the knee bent and maybe softly placing the hand over the knee. It doesn't matter where you place that left hand and whether that right knee is bent or straight, but just keep holding on to your left foot and then start to look in the opposite direction of your right knee. So you're looking over your right shoulder now. And so this is a bit of a twist, also working into the outer part of the hips, also stretching over the quad on the left side. You should feel it. If you feel very uncomfortable here, you can also pick up your cushion and place it underneath your right knee. So if it feels like it's not sort of comfortably falling over to the side, as I've done there, you can place that cushion over that knee. And then you should feel some more comfort in the body. You can close your eyes for the last few breaths in this cat's noose or reclining twist posture. Any twist we do activates and ushers in a process of what's called squeeze and soak along the spinal cord. We have innumerable nerve endings, and it is the highway of our nervous neural system, the spine. And when we do these twists, whether reclining, standing, or sitting in yoga, we first squeeze them in the twist, so restrict flow of blood and energy. And then when we release, there's a soaking action. And this is like cleansing or flushing out the highway of the nervous system. Last few breaths here on the side of the cat's noose. And when you're ready, gently releasing out of the pose, you can release your right hand from the left foot and just bring yourself back to the center. Lifting the legs up once again, let's do the other side. So your left leg is going to go over the right. So like sitting cross-legged on a chair, press the top of the right knee in the back of the left, and then bring those bent knees close into your chest as you hold onto the outside of your feet. Getting those handlebars as you inhale and press into your heels and press into the balls of the feet and the toes, and lift those legs up so that they're kind of even. And then exhale and start to press your coccyx, your base of your spine, and the base of the back into the floor, and soften over the shoulders and allow that sense of gentle pulling and coaxing and stretching over the back of the shoulders. And gently make sure that your neck is nice and straight and aligned to the spine. And then press your thighs against one another. In Chinese herbal medicine, the heart is known as the Shen, or the spirit, and that's the first of our Zen organs. Any process of healing that involves mental, emotional, and physical, of course, cannot be done without working with the Shen meridian as well. Exhale and bring your heels in towards your hips, and then draw your knees in towards your belly. So make the body as small as possible, squeezing those legs in towards the belly. And here we're actively pressing into the kidneys in the back of the body. And then exhale to release your feet, bringing the outer part of your feet, the outer edge of your feet onto the floor, maybe getting a nice little press into the base of those energy meridians, the spleen, kidney, and liver in the outer part of your foot. And then slowly exhaling to lower your knees towards the floor in front of you. Place a cushion under the legs if the floor feels far away and if it's uncomfortable. And then allow for the natural arch in your spine that's happening now as you elevate your chest. And this is kind of like a very safe and gentle back bend. And then once you've done the work of pressing away and arching, I invite you to relax the body and let the natural shape that you've achieved, let yourself embrace that natural shape. And closing the eyes and taking a few breaths here with our expanded lung capacity. Maybe feeling the belly rise and fall. Maybe leaning into any sensations you might have to want to move or squirm or scratch, or add anything more to this moment. I invite you to view this moment as it is, and yourself in it, whole, complete, and enough. On your next inhalation, I invite you to draw those legs up and gently coming out of that pose, and we'll get into the cat's noose on this side. So you're going to first lower the right leg towards the floor, keeping hold of the right foot with the left. And then you're going to shift over onto the right hip, and then you're going to stretch your left leg out towards the side. Now, some of you will have that leg bent, some straight, doesn't matter. Wherever you are, so if it's bent, it looks somewhere like something like this, and maybe you want to pick up your cushion or folded up blanket or something like that and place it over that leg. Under that leg. And then keep hold of your left hand on the right foot, and then look over your left shoulder. So just like our body does the work of digesting nutrients and digesting food, so too we have to digest emotions. So too we have to digest thoughts. I think it's no secret to us that the state of our metabolism and our ability to absorb nutrients and feel light and healthy and nourished is very much associated to the state of our minds. And so through Chinese herbal medicine, we're reminded that should you feel uptight, should you feel worry, should you feel anxiety, should you feed the mind on that frequency, you stop the flow of qi or pranic energy through those essential Zhang organs, and thus limit your body's ability to absorb nutrients and do its natural work. Those thoughts become stuck and overpowering, and the metabolic organs, and just think about the spleen and its essential work in assimilating nutrients, and that work is hindered. The energy is blocked. And so through stimulating these meridians of energy, we right now are activating into the spleen and trying to dislodge stasis, the nodules of psychosomatic memory, embedded worry and anxiety. And then when you're ready, gently inhale to lift those legs up, coming out of the pose. You can hug your knees, both knees in towards your chest at once, hugging your knees in towards the belly and pressing your tailbone into the floor. And then when you're ready, gently holding onto your knees and rolling up into a seated position. Make sure you've got a little bit of space in front of you on your mat, straightening out with your right leg. And we're going to take the left leg over the right, trying to bring the knees in alignment. So this is like a half Garudasana. So your right leg goes over your left and your left knee is almost in line with the right. If it's not quite, doesn't matter. There's a big gap between the two. Now's the time to fold up that blanket or smaller cushion and place it underneath there. And then as our left leg is on top here, when we do the arm mudra, the right's going to be on top because we want to balance out. So lifting up your left arm at a 90-degree angle, you're going to take the right and wrap it around the left, bringing the palms together, either pressing hand against hand, or if you can't quite get to that, pressing the back of the hands together. And then sit up nice and straight, just for a breath, lengthen. And as you do that, lift your elbows up towards the ceiling and press the arms in towards each other. You should really be feeling a lot of work into the scapula and into the rhomboids and upper shoulders. As you lift those elbows up, maybe look up towards the ceiling. Soften into the neck. And then when you're ready, we're going to exhale over that knee, bringing your elbows over that knee. So if your elbows don't get there, now's the time kind of awkwardly to pick up your cushion and place it over your belly. So you're going to make it comfortable to lean forward with our Garudasana arms. And then you want to soften your head, looking in towards your triceps, sorry, your biceps. So you should be able to kind of place your nose, nestle your head in. If you can't do that, you could pick up a towel now or another cushion and place it over top of your, this might be a bit big, but you could make it like a second layer of support. This is a bit big, but if you see what I mean, just to support your head. So it doesn't matter how far you can fold down, you at least have some support for the head. Soften your eyes, soften your face. And so through this Garudasana arrangement of our arms, we're activating into the top of our energy meridians for today, which end up in the chest, from the kind of the inner line of the chest towards the underarm. The three of them end in that area. So if it serves you here, you can also dome your shoulders backwards as you press your elbows together and go a little bit more deeply into the forward bend. Allow your spine to become round here and to fold inwards. Last few breaths here. Just letting the stillness wash over you. And then inhale to lift up. And you can unfurl the arms, move the cushion just a little bit out the way, and you're going to lean towards your left foot, so towards your right side, and you're going to lean over that foot. And just press your hands into the floor, and then press both bum cheeks into the floor as well. And now this is stretching into the lower part of your spine, into the outside of the hip. And also this is very good if you battle with sciatic nerve pain or problems. And if you activate into both sides of the hips, if you press your bum into the floor. Just press your hands into the floor and let there be a point of traction. If you feel that you're not getting enough out of the stretch, you can also come onto your elbows. The lower down you go, the more intensive it is. Last few breaths. Inhale to lift up. And we'll swap over. So our twist is going to now happen towards the other side. So you're twisting towards the left side. And you're going to bring your right hand over the left knee or towards the left hip. Bring your left hand behind the base of your spine and then twist towards the side. And you're going to look over your left shoulder. So this is a gentle and soft seated twist. You want to try and separate the shoulders here and pull back on your left leg with your right hand. So that helps you go slightly more deeply into the twist. Let the belly rise and fall here. Don't constrict the belly. Just feel the natural flow of breath and the rise and fall of your belly, and let the shoulders move apart from each other. Feel a sense of spaciousness over the shoulder blades and over the collarbones as well. So somebody took a pair of loving hands and pressed over your shoulders and collarbones now, just pressing down slightly and then inviting you to pull them apart. And then exhale to release, facing towards the front, and we can swap over to the other side. So your left leg goes down, straight, right leg coming over. Observe the differences. Often our hips are really quite amazingly out of balance, and that's quite normal. So just observe the differences and press now right knee on top of left. Inhale to sit up a little bit more straight as we come into our Garudasana arms. So now your right arm is going to be the first arm and your left arm is going to wrap around the right. And you're going to press your hands together. And you're going to, I'm just going to mute, just joined. And you're going to press your hands together. And then you're going to lift your hands up towards the ceiling as you press your elbows away from your face. Lengthen through the spine here. Make sure that you aren't leaning back as you do this. You want to really press your chest forward, elevate the chest forward, offer the solar plexus forward as you lift through the arms. Make sure the neck is soft. Keep lifting and lengthening. Lovely stretch over the scapula. And then exhale to fold forwards now over that right knee. And again, do what you need to here. So maybe you want to place a cushion over the top leg. If the space feels too far, bringing the hands together and then softening your face onto your upper arms, or placing a little towel or a rolled up sweater or something like that there, if once again it does feel like the gap is too much. Press your hands into each other. And perhaps here now you want to round into the shoulders and just draw them away from your elbows, away from your arms. Any pose where you soften the back of the neck and spine and look inwards automatically sends calming signals through the nervous system. So any pose that you fold downwards and inwards, particularly if you close your eyes and have your head supported, your spine is supported, and it's an automatic signal to activate the parasympathetic nervous system. So this is undoing the negative work cortisol and stress hormones do in our bodies. And consistent with Chinese philosophy on this, when cortisol and stress hormones are pumping through our bodies, our digestive tract, our organs of digestion, do not work as effectively. They start to, energy and focus is drawn away from the digestion, and they go to the brain, to the heart, and they're activated then through the signal of, we've all heard of it, fight or flight. And so then the energy flow, the qi in those digestive organs becomes stagnated. And so many of us spend so much of our day in that fight or flight mode. So right now you're undoing that work and pressing in here to the digestive organs, sending signals for that energy to begin to flow. I invite you to inhale and lift up here. And you can take the cushion out to the side if you need it, or just move it out the way, because we're going to stretch over towards your right foot now, bringing your elbows on the floor or on a cushion, or your hands, depending on your level of flexibility here, not important. That's why we've got the props. And you're going to lean over towards that left side of the body, bringing elbows to the floor or just your hands, softening into the neck, but make sure that you counter resist your right hip into the floor, and you get that lovely stretch over the lower right part of your back, over the outer part of your hip. And so moving with great care here and mindfulness. Feeling that connection between your mind state and how you move your body, how you treat your body. And perhaps drawing connections between patterns of mind state and body state. Inhale to lift up, and we'll twist in the other direction. So bringing your left hand over your right quad, and then stretching towards the side, elevating through the chest, through the top of the head as you press your right hand into the floor. Press the floor away and look over your right shoulder. Let the belly be soft here. Any twist in yoga is also activating or enhancing peristalsis, which is the natural rhythmical squeezing process of the large intestine. And this is all part of the process of assimilating emotions, of digesting emotions, and then being able to release them. Sitting in this way, we're also enhancing our Apanavatu, our downward flow of energy from the belly button through the digestive organs and down through the seat of the body. Part of a Vedic body map. We're enhancing that flow of energy to digest and release. Exhale now to come out of that pose. And then I seem to have all my cushions all in one corner. Bring your feet to be hip width apart, toes pointing away, hands behind your hips. We're going to do 3 breaths here in reverse tabletop just to release the spine after leaning forward and stretching out. So inhale, engage your glutes, press into the floor, lift your hips up, soften your neck, let your neck flop back. Let's take a deep breath here. Inhale and exhale. The bottom of that exhalation, slowly lower your bum to the floor and then press your elbows outwards and maybe just rock from side to side for 1 or 2 breaths. And then come to the center again and inhale, press hands and feet to the floor, press into the glutes, offer the hips up towards the ceiling, soften the neck. Let's take a deep breath, inhale and exhale. At the bottom of that exhalation, slowly lower your bum and then press your elbows out and just rock from side to side. Returning to the center, last one here, pressing hands and feet to the floor, lifting your bum up, softening your neck, softening your head. Take a deep breath in and exhale to release. Slowly blowing your bum to the mat. And then moving your feet out towards the right side or the left side, doesn't really matter because they're going to go towards the back. And you're going to come up into tabletop. So have your knees underneath your hips. And then have a cushion close by. And first we're going to try without a cushion. So you're going to stretch your arms forward. This is Anahatasana, the melting heart pose. You're going to stretch your arms forward and soften your upper body to bring your chin or forehead to the floor. The key is that your bum is over your knees. So turn your mind's eye to that and ask yourself, do I need to move my bum forward slightly? Usually that's the case. And that makes you more vulnerable and more of it stretch through the upper chest and upper back. Now, if you feel like it's a strain to hold this, I invite you to reach for that cushion and place it over the upper chest and then soften into the pose. Make sure you still leave yourself space to breathe. And wherever you are now, press your bum up towards the ceiling, press your knees to the floor. And keep softening through the heart. Keep offering the solar plexus forwards to the floor and feel the stretch through the underarms and the triceps. Keep tilting the hips and let your heart, your shin, melt to the floor. Intensive opening of the chest here. Holding for another few breaths. Remember, if you feel discomfort, I invite you always in your yin practice to move out of the pose and re-enter carefully. You don't have to hold through any discomfort. And then inhale to look forwards and coming forwards now onto your belly. If you had a cushion, you're just going to move it slightly forwards again. So it's not right under the belly. It maybe starts just above the belly button. If you had a blanket or something, same process. If you had nothing, lovely. Relax your feet, top of the feet flat to the floor, elbows under shoulders, spreading your fingers. We're in the Sphinx pose now, perhaps supported. If you have that prop beneath you, roll the shoulders back and down and press your elbows into the mat as you press your hands into the mat and feel that kind of energetic release through the chest and upper back. Let your hips be heavy here. Let your pelvis be heavy. Allow for a softening and opening through the chest. Feel the belly rise and fall onto the mat, and you can close your eyes here. If you feel that it's too intense to hold the pose open like this in the Sphinx, you can also soften your neck and look down to the floor. So it's up to you. And keep that mind steadfastly focused on the flow of the breath. And in Chinese herbal medicine, once we have assessed the physical aspects, the organs and energy meridians associated to the area of illness or distress, it is then time to look at the root cause. And the root cause is often in the mind. It's often in a perspective or a way of seeing the world, a way of thinking. It often lies in habit patterns or in mind states. So there's always this dual approach between understanding qi, understanding your Zhang organs, understanding the energetic body, working on an energetic level that we're doing right now through our yin practice, and then turning to look inwards, turning to assess the state of mind, the mind habits. On your next inhalation, if you had a cushion underneath you, I invite you to move it out of the way. And we're going to stretch in the front of the chest here and open into the hips. So you're going to start with your right arm out to the right side, horizontal to the front of the mat, palm facing downwards. And you're going to lift up your left leg and you're going to bring it over top, placing the left foot on the floor. And now your left side body is kind of facing up towards the ceiling, left knee softly facing up towards the ceiling. You have a choice with that top left arm. You can either draw it back to hold on to your left foot for a more intensive version of the posture, or you can simply bring the left arm forward and place it in front of the breastbone on the floor, on your mat, in front of your body. And then no matter where you put that left hand, soften your head now onto the mat. So let the neck be supported here. And slowly, carefully stretch the body over towards the right side. And this is a very intensive stretch over the front of the shoulder and the breastbone and the chest. And you want to also open into the hips, soften through the pelvic floor, soften through the adductors, so your inner thighs and the groin, and let that top knee splay outwards. So broadly speaking, there are 5 aspects to anxiety and anxiety disorders on a psychological and emotional level that we can look at and consider. The first is a gap between our expectations of life and the external world and the reality. So often anxiety arises because in people who are planners, who are visionaries, who imagine with minute detail the future, and they try to control and expect and plan what's going to happen tomorrow in an event, in meeting people, so on. And when reality happens, of course, there's a gap between the imagined world, the expectation, and the reality. And in fact, we anticipate that gap because every experience of our life shows us that reality is so much more and so different than our expectations. And so anxiety arises because we cannot reconcile our expectation, what we want, and what actually occurs. Exhale to slowly release, rolling over onto the belly once again. And then we're going to stretch the left arm out horizontal to the mat, palm facing downwards. Inhale to roll over onto the left side, lifting up the right leg now, placing foot to the floor, softening your head, letting the side of the head fall down into the mat, be supported. And then either placing your hand in front of the breastbone on the center of your mat, or reaching back for your right foot, getting more of an intensive stretch, depending on what you're looking for. Remember to soften into the pelvic floor here, soften into the belly, and let those hips and the adductors splay open. Let them relax. Let your knee be heavy. Slowly allowing yourself to fall and rotate over more and more towards the left side. And so this gap between expectation and reality works externally and internally. So internally, what it means is that we expect things of ourselves. We anticipate and play out a movie, a whole myriad of scenarios and ways in which we will respond and perform in society, amongst others, in situations that mean something to us in life. And we anticipate this performance from within ourselves and of ourselves. And again, there is always, inevitably, a gap between the expectation and the reality. And so a lot of our anxiety plays out in that way. And in both cases, it is a whole lot of time spent in the future. A whole lot of time spent on minute details and preoccupations on what could happen, what should happen, what might happen. A future projected mind state. And as powerful as it is to be a visionary, as powerful as it is to anticipate and plan for the future, it so too can be incredibly negative if we dwell there and start to compare expectation with reality. Exhale to slowly roll over back onto your belly. And then press your hands into the floor and gently lift your chest up. Come back onto all fours. And we're going to do melting heart pose again, but with a right angle in our legs. So you're going to take your right leg and lift it up and place your right foot on the inside of the left knee. So you might want to kind of wriggle around to get that right if your hip was a bit stiff. And once you have done that, place your hands on the floor under your shoulders and take a moment to engage into your glute, your right glute, to press, and your adductors, to press the right knee backwards a little bit. Try to get it in line with the right foot, but don't stress if it's not. And then exhale to slowly come down into your melting heart pose with this right angle in the leg. So you might find it is very intense in the hips and over the front of the side of the pelvis, and that's exactly what we're looking for. Soften your chin to the floor or forehead. And again, if this pose is too intense for a very stiff upper back, you can take a cushion and place it underneath your belly as you fold forward into melting heart with right angle leg. So we won't hold this quite as long as the other side, as when we did it with both our legs evenly. But I invite you here to just coax the hips backwards, press the hips back, up and back towards the ceiling, and soften your face. And then inhale to gently lift up. come out of the pose, and we'll just swap over to the other side. So you want to release that right leg and bring the left leg forward. And again, observe the differences in the hips and the body, and try not to judge, and just become aware of that and just work with it. So coax the left knee backwards, try to get it in line with the left foot. And then when you're ready, pressing the hips up towards the ceiling, slowly soften the body onto a cushion, 2 cushions, 3 cushions, or however high you need it, and flatten down, soften your neck, soften your face, reaching forwards. Keep pressing the hips backwards. Just a few breaths here. And when you're ready, inhale and gently come up out of the pose. And for now, we'll move the cushion out the way. Release that left leg, tuck your toes under, press your hands to the floor, and we're going to come up into a gentle down dog, just to release the hips and the legs in the back. So you don't have to strain and have the perfect down dog and activate intensely through the Mula Bandha or anything like that. Just push the floor away, lengthen your neck, lengthen your spine, and pedal your feet. Just get the energy moving and release here through the body. Maybe take a few deep breaths. A down dog is always a very nice posture to release frustration through the exhalation. Our chests are radically open. And then I invite you to slowly bring your legs to stillness and bring your heels to kiss. So even if your feet aren't on the floor, if you have bent knees and your heels aren't on the floor, it's fine, same thing. Bring your heels together, let your heels kiss, and almost like the inner and outer part of your legs press against each other, and just press them against each other and feel the activation on the outside of the legs and over the shin as you do that. And then exhale and put your heels outwards as you point your toes inwards. Same thing. And now you'll feel a stretch over the front part of the shins, even if your knees are bent. And then exhale, bring your legs back to neutral, to the center, and slowly with bent knees, walk your hands to the center of the mat. Release your hands, hold on to your elbows, and rock from side to side. Ragdoll, such a lovely pose. Relax your neck. Make sure the neck and face are soft here as you let all the weight fall down towards the floor, sinking down towards the floor. Let your lower back be long here. Bring your weight towards the balls of the feet, and then completely relax your neck. Even do like a yes, yes, no, no movement with your neck and head in order to make it really long and soft. Knees are definitely bent. You're protecting your hamstrings here. No need to straighten them. Maybe still rocking from side to side. And then I invite you to interlock your fingers and place them behind your head and find that groove in the back of the skull as it starts to protrude from the there's like the top of the spine, and it meets your skull, and just hook your fingers and interlock your fingers and hook them over there. And then slowly start to roll up vertebra by vertebra, pressing your hands onto the back of the head and feeling resistance between the two. Inhale to stand up, keep the hands on the back of the head, and then open the elbows out. And keep pressing your head onto the back of the hands. And then we're going to slowly roll back down and in. And just go as slow as you want with your breath. And then inhale to roll up. And really tuck your chin in towards your belly. And inhale and come up. Press head against hands, open out elbows. Nice tricep stretch, open your chest. And then roll back in. This is the last one. Rolling back and down. And then slowly inhale to roll up. Press your hands on the back of the head. Last time here. Inhale, press hands, elbows open. Exhale to release your hands. And then come to stand at the side of your mat, facing towards the side. Or if you still want to see me, you can just open your legs wide if you don't have a slippery carpet and continue to look at the front. But if you do, it might be good practice to keep your both feet on the mat, face towards the side, and you want to hook your toes in, heels out. And then I invite you to bring your hands into your solar plexus. Right hand in first, left hand on top of right. Toes in, heels out, micro bend in the back of the knees. Take a moment to roll the shoulders back and down, and then press your hands into your solar plexus as you soften your belly and let a natural kind of arch in the lower spine and offer your chest up towards the ceiling. And just press in onto that solar plexus. Maybe close your eyes here and take a few breaths. In your own time, we're all in a different rhythm here, and feel the rise and fall of your lungs, of the diaphragm, of your belly. Connect with the anatomy of your breath as you stand here. Connect with the steady, full flow of your breath. Observe the ebb and flow. And this brings us to the third of our 5 points with regards to anxiety and the mental and emotional aspect of it. And that is that we live in a state, in a world, in a universe of fluidity. So everything is changing constantly. We are a mass of vibrations, of particle energy and waves, and it's changing and flux. It's in total flux, and there's an ebb and flow, whether it is our very physical, concretized feeling body, or it's our breath, or it's our thoughts. They're passing, they're energy, and they rise and they fall. And so no state of mind or emotion is permanent. It arises and it passes. And any expectation or solidly adhere to expectation of the future or ourselves is futile, and it's a waste of energy, because that future state, whenever it comes to pass, however it comes to pass, is fleeting. And so in moments of anxiety, in moments where we feel that we are engulfed and swimming and sinking, everything feels very permanent and concretized. And this is part of the stagnation of the energy in mind and body, that stagnation of qi. And so using the breath and practices like these and moments like these to feel the rise and fall of belly and breath reminds us of this fluidity and reminds us that these processes are impermanent. So change of perspective from an ideal or an experience of permanence and concretization to impermanence and fluidity. And then exhale to release your hands and interlock your fingers behind your bum. Press your thumbs, your forefingers, make a fist with your hands and press them out behind you as you straighten your elbows. And then exhale to fold over, tilting from the hips, knees are bent, weight comes right into the balls of the feet. Soften the head as you bring those arms overhead. If you couldn't make a fist with your hands and straight elbows, you can also place each hand on each elbow and make like a right angle if you want to look. I'm doing it now. Make a right angle with your arms. So you just hold onto your elbows and it's the same effect, just a little less intense. And you're holding onto the elbows wherever you are with your arms and your elbows. The bottom line is that you're leaning forwards and the head is heavy. So let your head, let your skull be heavy and feel as though any remaining stagnation or nodule of energy, of chi in the body, is starting to trickle down over the back, over the spine, over the back of the head, and down into the earth. So let your few more extra breaths here be breaths of release. Perhaps you even want to breathe out the mouth as you breathe in the nose and breathe out the mouth. And let that static, that stasis, that static energy drain through the body and out the mouth, out the top of the head, out the ears. Let it drain and seep out the body. Through this kind of mindful movement, we dislodge our areas of stasis. Let it drip over the back and down into the floor. And then exhale to release your hands. You might have to kind of lean up a little bit if you had your palms together, and then bring both of your hands underneath your shoulders. Knees are bent. And I invite you to reach for your right leg and to hold onto your right leg. And it can be somewhere up on the calf if you can't quite reach the ankle. And then bend into your left leg, into your left knee. And exhale to bring your left elbow and forearm perpendicular with the floor. Soften your neck, and so you want to lean towards the left side and bring your left elbow down towards the floor as you soften your neck. And if it serves you now, straighten into the right leg. Inhale to lift up to the center, and exhale, let's go over to the other side. So hands holding onto the left leg. Exhale, bend into the right leg and try and bring the right elbow towards the floor and have that right forearm in a straight line, perpendicular, parallel to the floor, to your mat. And then inhale to the center and start to bend into that front left leg and just rotate or right. It depends what way you, what side you look to, but it doesn't matter. Come into a kind of like a runner pose and then softly step back. Come onto your knees. So we're facing the front again, stacked up, knees under hips. And then I invite you to draw your hips back towards your bum and slowly come into a child pose. So child pose in yin is the most wonderful, calming posture. And for that, it is really nice to place a cushion underneath your belly and between your knees. So something to support your upper body. And then it is also a good practice to have something soft under your forehead. So you just want to place your forehead on, even if it's your hands, if you don't have another spare blanket or cushion, and just have your head supported as you look down and inwards and then close your eyes. You can place your arms either up alongside your head, kind of like in a cactus shape, or you can have your arms alongside the body, palms facing upwards. And you want to let the breath be soft and long and rhythmical. Closing your eyes, turning inwards. Great sense of intimacy in this posture. Just allowing yourself to be as you are and to feel as you are. And as you focus on your breath and turn the gaze inwards, you can contemplate the fourth of our 5 mental and emotional aspects to anxiety, as discussed in Chinese herbal medicine and then the treatment of it. And the fourth aspect is that you are more than your thoughts. So our thoughts, this is linked to the third aspect, as they are fluid, arising and passing, they are also not the sum total of our being. So as we begin to cultivate a practice of meditation or mindful movement, or contemplation, we begin to see that there is a difference between our thoughts and the observer. So there is a gap between a thinking mind and something that is observing that mind. There is a vantage point from which we can observe our thoughts. And that is a very empowering realization. Because in moments of anxiety, or in moments of depression, in moments where our mental energy is very negative, our thoughts overcome us. And we feel as though we are our thoughts. And our thoughts are our whole reality. But there is this critical realization, this moment, that there is a difference, there is a disjuncture between passing thoughts, which are chemicals firing through the brain, and something bigger and deeper, an observer, a consciousness, something that is watching this process. And the minute we experience that dislocation between the two, we have taken power back. Because then thoughts are passing. They are passing traffic or passing clouds, rather than the sum total of our mental experience. So if you imagine as though in a healthy state of mind, you're sitting on the side of the road watching cars pass by, your thoughts being the cars, and in moments of anxiety or moments when our negative mind states have taken hold, we jump into that car and we travel with that car in the flow of traffic. And so we want to stop and realize that, observe it, step out of the car and come back onto the sidewalk. And I invite you now to gently lift up your torso, coming out of the posture. And we're going to come into our final pose. So you're going to bring your bum to the floor, and this is the Supta Baddha Konasana. So I'm sure you are familiar with this pose if you've done yoga before. You're going to place your cushion just behind your bum, knees are splaying outwards, feet are facing each other, soles of the feet facing each other in front of you. If your groins are very tight, you also want to place a cushion or a blanket or something underneath each leg, because your groins are going to get tired without it. So you want to just have some support there. And then you're going to slowly recline back onto that cushion, soften your head to the floor. Check in that you aren't straining your neck. If you are, you want to roll up a sweater or a blanket and place it under your head to give it a little bit of elevation. And then you want to soften your knees, let them fall outwards as you bring your belly to your chest. Bring your belly to your chest. Bring your hands over your chest or your belly. That would be an amazing feat if you did. And just come and have your palms in contact with your torso. Elbows are supported by the floor on either side of the body, and your eyes are closed. This is an incredibly restorative posture. And you want to allow for that natural flow of breath as we are entering into our meditation and our final relaxation. This is just the last pose before that. And just a breath or two more here. Allowing those knees to open, allowing for the flow of energy through the inner part of the thighs, inner part of the legs, through to the ankles and the feet. And also up over the hips, the front of the hips and the front of the body. Let the shoulders be soft, let them open out and fall outwards. And then from here, I invite you to bring your knees together and gently come out of the pose by lifting your head up. And you're going to take the cushion out from underneath you and get into your Shavasana, your corpse pose. So I like to place a cushion under the back of my knees for that. Other people, maybe you want to put a cushion or a towel under your head or lower back. It doesn't really matter. Just find where you feel you need a cushion or softness under the body for support. And then let the knees flop outwards as your toes point away from you, heels in. You can even engage your glutes and lift your hips slightly off the floor And then try and draw the bum away from the shoulders and exhale and place the bum back onto the floor, just lengthening into the lower back. Relax your legs. Lift your arms up, palms facing up towards the ceiling. Have your arms off the floor, and then draw those arms down and away from the shoulders, away from the body, and then exhale and place them softly onto the mat. Gently lengthen into the back of your neck and tuck your chin ever so slightly inwards. Eyes are closed. Breathing is rhythmical here. Your monotonous rhythm, your essential breath. And so we return back to the state of calm, of reflection, of complete stillness and ease as we began our class. A full cycle here. And we come to enter into our meditation through mentioning the fifth and final aspect with regards to anxiety, and that is presence. So much of anxiety and states of mind and anxiety are related to forward projected thinking and backward projected thinking. The present moment is emotionally neutral. It's fleeting. And it's neutral because in order to experience it, you have to observe it from that state of mind of the observer, so dislocated from your thoughts. When you are taken up by your thoughts, you are not in the present moment. The moment you observe the thoughts from a distance, you settle into presence and a neutral emotional standpoint. And so cultivating presence in the everyday through meditation, or perhaps it's dance, walking, contemplation, through painting, or whatever it is that makes your heart sing and makes you settle into a moment of observation and presence. This is essential for your mental well-being and very much part of your toolkit in handling anxiety and states of anxiety. And so as we are here together, lying on our backs, completely relaxed and warm and comfortable, after our yin practice, our bodies feel energized and stretched out, but not at all exerted or not at all forced. It's a wonderful sense of almost aquiline cooling and calm, like a loving hand sweeping over the body, over the mind. And so let us settle into this experience and this feeling. With the mind focused on the breath, we're able to settle into our observer perspective. We're able to settle back into the back of the mind, away from the prefrontal cortex and the crazy thoughts and thinking and worries, and begin to settle back, sinking deeper and deeper into a state of relaxation. And imagine now, as I count down from 10 to 1, that each number is an invitation to let go a little bit more, to sink back a little bit more. 10, 9, becoming more relaxed, letting go. 8, leaving the world behind. 7, 6, slipping down. 5, dissolving. 4, letting go. 3, completely relaxed. 2, sinking further into the subconscious mind. 1, complete relaxation. Retreated well within yourself. sinking down, down into the state of relaxation, into your safe space. As you sink down and backwards, the deeper you get, the more light floods through your body, through your limbs, hands, soles of your feet, top of your head. Light begins to rush in through the mouth, the nose, the eyes, the ears, the belly. And light becomes diffused throughout the body, through each molecule, every molecule, filling the organs and the ligaments and the bones, deep, deep within the organs, deep within the blood and every cell of the body. Light, unstoppable light. The deeper you go, the more light fills the body. And here, wrapped and bathed in light, you're weightless. So far removed from the world, entirely weightless. This is your safe space. Here, there is no one else. There are no pressures, no responsibilities, nowhere else to go and nothing else to do when you are immersed in this light. And as this light rushes through the body and the organs and the cells and the limbs and the brain and the face, you are free to let go negativity. You are free to release the burdens from your shoulders, to expel the worry and the grief and the anxiety. In the comfort of the solitude of this space and the light that fuses through your body, within this space, you can let go, completely releasing, allowing you to float free and light, eternal light. I invite you to gently now start to move your hands and feet, bringing life back to your body. If it serves you, stretch your arms above your head, taking a deep breath in, stretching into fingers, into toes, lengthening. And then when you're ready, roll onto your right side, lifting your right arm up alongside your right ear, maybe nestling the right side of your head into the right upper arm. And coming into your fetal position, keeping your eyes closed. We, this people, on this small and drifting planet, whose hands can strike with such abandon that in a twinkling life is sapped from the living. Yet those same hands can touch with such healing, irresistible tenderness, that the haughty neck is happy to bow and the proud back is glad to bend. Out of such chaos, of such contradiction, we learn that we are neither devils nor divines. A brave and startling truth. Invite you, when you're ready, to press into the floor and bring yourself back up to a seated position as we began our practice together. And I invite you to bring your hands together in Anjali Mudra, palm upon palm in front of your chest. And let us join together in the universal vibration of one together across time and space to bind us in this moment. Inhale. In gratitude to all our teachers, past, present, and future, and to our loved ones who could not be here with us in this moment and over this time. Namaste. So thank you so much for joining me in this practice this evening. I hope that you enjoyed it and you feel super chilled and restful. And yeah, I hope that it was clear and a good experience for you. Please give me feedback. I love feedback. I love to hear how it went. And if you have any requests for future classes or topics or themes, please let me know. And over this week, I'm doing 2 more classes on Tuesday and on Thursday, the same time as tonight, or daytime where you are. So exact same time, Tuesday and Thursday. And they will be Hatha Vinyasa classes, and but also with an element of meditation and mindfulness that will also be a little bit more active and allow you to move your body in these times of constriction and isolation. So I'd love to see you on the mat then. And there's also an option for you to donate at the end of any of these classes. All 50% of donations are going to charity. Our charity this week is the Gift of the Givers. It was actually a suggestion from my dear friend Bridget, who's in Cape Town, who has joined us this evening. And the Gift of the Givers are Africa's largest disaster relief non-governmental organization, Africa's largest Africa-originated, should I say, disaster relief organization. And they do everything from disaster relief in terms of drought, food, education, infrastructure support. They're always on the front line. Should there be any medical emergencies, they're a really incredible organization. And so 50% of all donations this week are going to them. And so if you'd like to donate, I'm going to add the link now on the chat thread in our group. And that's the same for the other classes later this week as well. Furthermore,